the noise we call life. Have you ever noticed how hard it is to sit still? No phone, no background music, no distractions. Just you and your thoughts. For most people, that's unbearable. We reach for our phones the moment silence creeps in. We binge shows, scroll endlessly, keep busy, anything to avoid being alone with ourselves. But here's the truth, we're not escaping boredom. We're escaping something much deeper. Ourselves. The inner war of modern life. In the ancient world, Epictetus wrote that people are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them. Today, we are more connected than ever, yet emotionally fragmented. We live in constant stimulation, yet feel empty when it stops. It's not the world that overwhelms us. It's the storm inside we never learned to face. We've outsourced our inner peace to algorithms. We've traded presence for performance. We scroll to avoid pain. We binge to numb the ache. We stay busy, so we don't feel alone. But here's the secret no one tells you. Avoiding your feelings doesn't make them disappear. It just makes them stronger, in the shadows. Digital escapism is emotional escape. You might think you're just checking your phone. But what you're really doing is avoiding the hard questions. Why do I feel so restless? Why am I never fully satisfied? Why do I feel disconnected even in a crowded room? Social media doesn't cause these questions, it covers them. Like a bandage on a wound that keeps bleeding. The real wound is deeper, Carl Jung said. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That restless need to escape. That's your unconscious calling for attention. The courage to sit with yourself. What if the answer isn't to run faster, but to stop running? Imagine sitting quietly for 5 minutes. No distractions. No input. Just your breath. Just your thoughts. At first, it feels like chaos. Anxiety rises. Regrets whisper. Old memories surface like ghosts. But if you stay, if you don't flinch, something shifts. You start to see your mind, not be your mind. You notice patterns. You meet the pain instead of avoiding it. This is the beginning of true healing. Stillness is a skill. You weren't born knowing how to sit with yourself. You were taught to move, to chase, to do. But presence is a practice. Stillness is a skill. Mindfulness isn't about stopping thoughts. It's about noticing them without getting pulled in. It's like watching cars pass by from the sidewalk, instead of jumping into traffic. And the more you practice, the more distance you create between your awareness and your impulses. You stop being a puppet pulled by strings of anxiety, guilt, or fear. You become the observer, the anchor, the calm in the storm. The mirror of silence. Silence is uncomfortable because it shows us who we really are. Without the noise, you see your fears, your insecurities, your regrets. But you also see your strength, your desires, your capacity to change. Stillness becomes a mirror, not always flattering, but always honest. And in that mirror, something incredible happens. You realize you're not broken. You're just unseen, even to yourself. What you resist persists. Every time you suppress an emotion, you feed it. Every time you avoid a thought, it grows stronger. This is what Jung meant when he said, "What you resist persists." Running from yourself is a race you cannot win. But facing yourself, that's freedom. Not the kind sold in ads. The kind that lets you breathe again. From reaction to response. When you're constantly escaping, life becomes a series of reactions. You feel triggered. You lash out. You feel sad. You scroll. You feel bored. You binge. But when you learn to sit with discomfort, you create space. space to choose, space to breathe, space to respond. And in that space, you find power. You stop being a victim of your moods. You start becoming the master of your mind. Rediscovering depth in a shallow world. We live in a culture that rewards speed, not depth. Surface pleasures are everywhere, but soul nourishment is rare. To sit with yourself is an act of rebellion, a silent protest against a world that tells you to be more, do more, want more. You don't need more. You need meaning. And meaning doesn't come from consumption. It comes from presence. The ancient wisdom of stillness. Epictetus taught that true freedom is internal. It's the ability to choose how you respond, no matter the chaos outside. This is also the foundation of mindfulness and of Jung's individuation. The process of becoming who you truly are, not who the world expects you to be. Each of these teachings points to the same truth. Until you stop running, you'll never find what's chasing you. Building the muscle of awareness. Self-awareness is like a muscle. At first, it's weak, shaky, frustrating. But with practice, it grows. Start small. 2 minutes of silence a day. Notice your breath. Notice your thoughts. Then expand. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. Then go deeper. Journal your feelings. Ask questions. What am I avoiding? What do I really want? Awareness grows in layers. It's not about perfection. It's about presence. The gift you give yourself. When you stop escaping, you give yourself a gift. The gift of self-knowledge. The gift of inner peace. The gift of freedom. And in that space, you begin to hear your true voice. Not the voice of fear. Not the voice of doubt. Not the voice of society. But your voice. The one buried beneath all the noise. And once you hear it, everything changes. This is still mind. If you've ever felt the urge to escape, if silence scares you more than noise, you're not weak. You reawake. The discomfort is not failure. It's a signal, a doorway. The art of sitting with yourself is not passive. It's the most radical act of self-discovery you can take. And it begins with one breath. Right here. Right now. This is Still Mind. If this message resonated with you, consider subscribing. There's more to come. Thank you for watching.